Welcome everyone back to my channel On The Move with Linda. As always, unajua lazima you subscribe to the channel because the content here is just going to ensure not only are you making moves in life, but you become better and a better version of yourself. So today I'm joined by an amazing personality. First of all, I'm so grateful he said yes. I know it's not easy to, especially now during COVID, to have a sit down with people, but I am happy to welcome Frasha to the channel. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Asante sana for having me.
Yeah. No, this is dope. And we are at Founders Lounge.
Yes, this is Liquor House. It's the first #1 Kenyan supermarket for liquor.
Yeah.
So we are the only ones who have a supermarket where we sell liquor.
And you know what? I was telling him earlier on, in December I was driving by, and I kept on seeing, things happening. I was like, where is this place? I want to come and actually visit, and I'm happy I'm here.
We're finally here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about Founders Lounge.
Yeah, Founders Lounge is a members place.
Yeah.
It was basically designed in partnership with EABL, Johnny Walker, so they help us put all this together.
Yeah.
And it's a place where we do, if it's whiskey tasting, if it's, somebody wants to bring something private for them.
Yeah.
So you can always come to the Founders Lounge. So it's a members only place.
It's a members only place.
Yes.
So if someone is not a member and wants to have an event here, what happens?
We have to sit down. There are people who have to decide, but normally it's just a place for members only.
Which I like, because at the end of the day, we keep on saying the market is wide and there's something for everyone, and membership brings a level of intimacy for people. You feel like you're home.
And it's a place for more of networking.
Yeah.
So it's not that we're coming here to have a drink. It's just sit down, get to know the other person, what they do, exchange ideas, and that's what Founders Lounge is all about.
Yeah, so please check them out along Kiambu Road at Liquor House. It's amazing. So yeah, I was telling Frasha earlier on, the purpose of the channel is really just to have a conversation with people. Because at the end of the day, I feel we don't get the opportunity to actually show ourselves, especially away from the social tags. And I didn't even know Frasha is called Amisi.
Let me tell you, Frasha is a combination of my names.
Oh.
My full names are Francis Amisi. So that's Frasha. Yeah, 2 names put together.
That is so dope. I didn't know that. Yeah. And I know, honestly, growing up, music was integral for us, especially as youngsters, and it is still. But there's a huge difference, honestly, when I think of the music now and reflecting the kind of music. Like I grew up to a set with Dakitare. There's some songs which are like, this is it. Now I don't even understand half of the out of the music content that is being put out there. What's your honest opinion about that evolution, and what do you think of it?
I think even when we were doing music as young guys, you would understand it, but your parents would not. So ni kama tumeanza kuzeeka. You're not understanding these kids the music, but it's popular. It's what is in. Because when we used to do music, tulikuwa music ya mtaa. It was music from the lives that we were living, at that time. So I think that it's just we have outgrown that that stage, and maybe that's why unaona kama kuna a shift in Kenyan music.
What will get Kenya on the global map in terms of music, in terms of artistry, in terms of award shows? Because again, earlier we were having a conversation about we don't get as much representation from Kenya than other countries in Africa. What will get us to that sweet spot where we're like, yes?
For example, if I can take P Unit as an example, we were nominated for Mamas. Mamas was big, was huge. We won 2 Channel O awards in South Africa. We won awards in Tanzania. There was recognition of the Kenyan music outside in the global world. We used to go tours. We do tours in the States, wherever, UK. All this was because our music was exposed outside. The moment we start doing music that is localized, unachezea tu wale watu wa mtaa wale wanakuelewa. You don't think about the larger market. So I think ndio kitu inahappen kwa music yetu. Because even guys from one mtaa cannot understand a song from another mtaa.
And that's the thing.
It's different lingos. Yeah, so I think if people start concentrating on doing music our way, but with international standards, you know, we will do a video for like 1 million shillings easy when we are doing music. So, and that would get us to the international stage.
Yeah.
So I think it's time for people just to up their game in terms of production.
Yeah.
Si kuchukua kamera moja, simu, unasikia video imeshootiwa na simu, you get your friends. I mean, it's very hard to put such kind of music in a place where Diamond has put 2 or 3 million in a video, you know.
Yeah. What if the people who will say Frasha but hakuna tunes, we don't have the money to do it?
Yeah.
But I still think, you know, music is just like business. You have to invest in it for you to see the returns. Yeah.
First of all, let me tell you, there's a lot of money in music. There was a survey which was done, I think, in 2018, which put music, the creative sector, to a tune of about 200 billion.
Wow.
And if there is money in music, you know, there are people who are making money in music a lot. My biggest problem is that the people who actually sing don't make money in Kenya. The people who don't sing have platforms whereby they can make money out of music, you know. Yeah. And that's why every time utasikia msanii is dead, it's people changia stand with. And there are people who are actually making a lot of money from music. So first of all, for me, there is money in music, but you also have to plan on how do you get your revenue streams from the business. Yeah. As we were growing, when we were doing serious music, I had 5 pillars. I knew we'd get money from the song, selling of the song. So we used to sell CDs and things, merchandising, put a t-shirt, you know, put some messages on it. Yeah. Then there were endorsements from corporates. There was I don't know if I can remember all of them. Royalties, we used to be paid royalties from NCSK, Prisk, Camp, things like YouTube. Yeah. And then finally was also from radio stations and TV stations.
And they're playing your music. Yeah.
And so if you look at the pillars that you have, all of them had issues. So those issues of piracy. If you read Kitoa CD, Kisumu, there was a guy who tried to sell for me my own music.
Did you buy it?
So we called him and then asked him which songs are here. This guy told us this guy's Afro. No, buy. No, Nairobi. And so the guy wanted to sell us our own music. And, you know, so piracy at that time, it was equally quite shida, but, you know, things have also evolved in music. So now the piracy has gone into illegal sites for downloads. So that is one of the things that, and, you know, people keep claiming that we call on the government for things that, but on a serious note, there are things, if any musician is to make money in future and in this generation, there has to be a crackdown on illegal sites because they make a lot of music online, yet nothing trickles down to the artists. If you look at also the percentages, for example, in Skiza tunes that they are given to the artist, we've been fighting all through. You know, things are getting better slowly. But even if you look at it, still the artists and the content creators are disadvantaged. So pole gavana for kuingilia somebody who understands the music business and, you know, try and help out with the laws, because that's where the biggest problem is.
And I think you're right, because the regulation and policies are instrumental, because, you know, that is what you fall back on. You know, if someone is violating any kind of law, you can actually go and say, this is not right. And now that we're talking about issues of politics and governance, I remember some time back, you vied for a political seat.
Yes.
And are you ready to try again in 2022?
Yeah, so this is what happened. I was running for an MCA seat in Athi River Township through a party called Maendeleo Chap of His Excellency Governor Alfred Mutua. And during our nominations, in our party there were no elections, party inter-nominations. So you would sit down and discuss and see what, you know, mnekana kwa meza, unapangana.
So
I was asked to step down
Oh.
Yeah, so I didn't run actually for the office, but I became the director of youth in the Machakos County.
Okay.
And so this time around, I'm going back fully, Sasa, because I've learned the ground, and I know what it would take.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, my dad was also a politician.
Oh.
Yeah. And
which area?
Same area.
Okay.
So it's I feel like it's a calling from him, to try and get back and do certain things that maybe he didn't accomplish. But Athriva is a cosmopolitan place. My dad is Luo.
Yeah.
My mom is Kamba.
Yeah.
And my wife is Kikuyu. And my kids are Kenyan.
You're slowly having a United Nations in your house. Una represent
nyumba yangu iko na kila mtu. Everybody is there. So for people in Athriva to elect my dad as from a perspective that he was a Luo to represent them was a huge show of democracy. So that's why I still want to go back there.
You should, and everyone who knows me, I'm sure guys are like, I know Linda's going to talk about that. I've been so passionate about getting more, I don't want to say young people, I just want people, whether you're young, old, whichever gender you identify with, because it is time, honestly, for change, and we need courageous people to actually take that route. And you might fall a couple of times, but I think it's really, really possible to get people who have a progressive agenda to get into elective seats, so that we can actually be able to see, manze, we keep on saying tunasuffer. We never call the Kenyan, manze, ukaje, manze, nangana tu, manze, tunasurvive. Daytime, like, there's no time really I'm going to call someone says, but they niko sawa. Yeah, and I think we need to get to that space.
And the biggest problem with our country is middle class.
Yeah.
Sisi wase wa middle class tunakuwa comfortable, you're making your own money, so you don't see the need of you getting into politics. My personal push is for young guys, and I think more females also should get into politics, because I have seen places where women take lead in terms of leadership, na pia mahali wanaume wanaingia kuna katofauti fulani kana kuwaga. And it's time to just push ladies to get into politics, and also young people just to know that this country, hakuna mtu atachange hii country. Tutashinda tunaongea kwa Twitter, sijui kwa whatever KOT, that will never change anything.
Keyboard warriors.
Yes. So if we can calm down, jitolee tusimesema mimi na hii kitu yangu nitasimama mahali fulani, get it or you lose, you never know. It exposes you to different places.
I totally agree. Maybe that's the push I need as well. Neda small pia mimi women rep Nairobi County.
Haraka sana. Nominate.
Speaking of, Francis Amisi.
Yes.
Your background, you started off in physiotherapy.
Yeah. I used to study in Nairobi, KMTC.
Yeah.
I did physiotherapy. I got employed at Aga Khan.
Yeah.
And then I worked for 6 years in Aga Khan.
Okay.
And then my music career in the hospitali kaanza kuleta shida. So I had to drop one.
Yeah.
The day I dropped physiotherapy, my dad was very mad at me.
Yeah.
Because anashinda huyu jamaa alimpeleka shule. Akasome. Anaenda fanya genge.
Genge ni nini?
So I was in a lot of problems, but it was one of the greatest decisions that I've ever made in my life.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The kind of exposure.
Transition was not easy.
It was bad.
That transition for sure.
Yeah, and I was, I had a young family. I had one kid at that time.
Yeah.
And it kijana wa mtaa ameingia amekuwa famous na pesa, and with a wife. Tusichana huko nje tulikuwa tunasumbua sana. So I almost got divorced on that transition period, but I'm still here 19 years later. 19
years later.
Yeah.
Manze, that is good. That is good. But again, that's the thing. When you say 19 years, most guys, the way you're saying, guys will be like, it was easy. But I'm sure you went through storms and tornadoes to remain standing and to have the relationship that you currently have.
Yep.
For you, what will be those moments? And you can pick maybe a couple that were like testing periods, the way you're like, me, I'm done. And then what got you to still say, I'm going to stick through it? And
First of all, people might not know I'm very religious. I pray every morning. We have a group called Muscles. We wanaume Mungu mbele.
Yeah.
So I think one of the things that has kept me in my marriage. I've been married for 19 years.
Yeah.
But I've known my wife for like 22 or 23 years. My firstborn is 18. My second-born is 16 years, and I have a small boy who's turning 7 now.
Yeah.
Bado nakaa hivi.
Bado nakaa hivi. I was about to comment. Sasa sioni hapo ndo unafanya hiyo ya. Unasema nini? Yeah.
So I think for me, marriage, there's no formula. As in, they're just patterns that you can follow that they can work and cannot work for you.
Yeah.
For me, I think the biggest thing is to get a partner who understands you, not in love. Say that, hey, they're in love. Hey. No,
that is not enough, eh?
It's not.
Yeah.
It's someone who understands you, someone who knows, who can love you at your lowest. You know, saa zile vitu ziko mbaya kabisa na kwa maana. Not someone, because love, you cannot love a person every day. Ile forever, happily after.
There's a point unamko anasema mimi sipendi vile na snow.
Snow mama kumwangalia tu. Muangalia utata.
Yeah.
But then, as long as you understand and you know they understand you, that can test time.
Yeah, no, but honestly, it's encouraging to hear that, because most of the time, again, the age where we are in, you do 1 year, 2 years, you're like, man, this guy is getting onto my nerves, and me I'm that. You know, we don't stick through it, and I think that's one of the things that we keep on saying. It's not going to be a bed of roses, but getting someone, the way you said, who understands you can make a difference.
And marriages are made by women. My own perception.
Yeah.
Marriages are made by women. If ukipata mwanamke wa kuvuruga, utavurugwa tu. Even if you're trying to be as good as what.
Yeah.
As long as you get a woman that understands what marriage is, what her role is.
Yeah.
Role ya mwanaume wake ni gani. If it doesn't perform it, anakuja anamwambia, you know, this is, I need you to just do this 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
You know, and then kuna respect. Marriage inasonga tu.
Hiyo nimeisikia by the way. Hiyo nimeinternalize. So I'm about to start taking notes. But on the issue of physiotherapy, I also saw you are a supporter or an activist for autism. And does that stem from your period, you know, in the medical field, or it's just maybe an experience that made you feel like, okay, this is something I want to support?
So I have a foundation. I run a foundation. It's called Frasha Foundation.
Yeah.
And we've been in existence for 6 years now. And I was the ambassador for autism. I was like 4 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Then I got into people with disabilities, where I was heavily supported by Sport Pesa when they were around.
Yeah.
Then I got into HIV and AIDS, which is what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I ran a campaign. It's called HIV Smart. HIV Smart is for kuvaa to smart.
Yeah.
Just knowing your status, you're smart.
Yeah.
So I try to bring up a culture of it's okay to get tested. You know, unaweza taka kuwa fun, but always get, you know, know your status, jua ni nini inaendelea kwako, and also your partner, you know.
Yeah.
And after that helps you do a lot, because you can plan for your future.
Yeah.
And my campaign is targeted for the young people. I believe if we can take care of our youth right now and instill such values into them, then the future yetu itakuwa better when we are old guys.
Yeah.
Kama tutafika huko inshallah.
Yeah.
At least tutakuwa na generation responsible, you know.
Yeah. And it's a good thing, because there's still stigma. You know, people say they've put HIV at the back burner now. You know, issues of cancer, there's COVID, but there's still a lot of stigma around HIV. And I'm happy that
HIV still kills more people than COVID.
Exactly.
You know, and people are more irresponsible now with all the house parties. You know, you can check on companies that sell condoms.
Yeah.
I think saizi wako kwa biashara kabisa.
Kabisa, yeah.
So people need to take care, and saa ingine mnasahau juu ya COVID, you can get responsible, but always be careful.
Yeah, I've been telling my friends, the YOLO people. I'm like, you know what? It's true, you actually have one life to live, but also it's very easy to lose that one life by just one or two, careless acts. So it's important to keep ourselves in check, and I love that. The link for the foundation will be on the YouTube channel, so please check it out. And speaking of issues of stigma, mental health, not only in Kenya but global. The other day, I don't know if you saw the tennis star Naomi Osaka pulled out of the French Open.
Yeah.
And it's a debate, guys are like, she shouldn't have done that. People are like, no, she is taking care of her mental well-being. And I know it's a conversation in Kenya where honestly bado iko chini ya maji to say it. We are very quick with the keyboard warriors #mental awareness, but are we truly, especially for people who are either sports athletes, entertainers, politicians, not demeaning any other person who has any other career, I personally feel there's an extra spotlight someone gets when you are in the public eye, because your life is in the public. So any mistake you do, guys are anything So what are your thoughts around it?
First of all, I'm a very private person.
Yeah.
Very. Actually, this is the first interview I've done without my standards on. I'm
gosh.
always hiding.
I'm totally grateful for that.
I feel, it's because you say this is an open space,
Very informal.
So, being in the limelight, it's for me, I said can be the biggest curse for an entertainer.
Yeah.
Creative, whoever, even sports, political, whoever.
Yeah.
Just being on the spotlight and being famous can be the biggest curse.
Yeah.
And it depends with, first of all, the society already has its own guidelines on how you should live,
Yeah.
and everybody looks at you, and you're supposed to be this perfect, holy character.
Yeah.
But things are not like that, and especially this younger generation right now. You find a kid, maybe amefanya music, they have 1 million views. There's no money.
Yeah.
They're not getting paid. They are very famous. Their music is so big, but when you go home, unaingia mtaa, kuna kitu yote, you don't have anything in your pockets, and this does a lot to that young person, because first of all, anapigwa juu hizi wimbo anaimba, anaambiwa ni mchafu.
Yeah.
But they're still making him famous, but he's not making money.
Yeah.
And with time, you've seen a lot of artists who have been, not artists, I'd say creatives, who have been got depression for some time, and it's because of all this pressure from the society. And one of the things that I personally decided is to be an entertainer, Frasha, and be Amisi or Francis Amisi on the side.
Yeah.
And being able to distinguish, this is the line.
Yeah.
And when maybe nimetoka kwa club, kama Frasha nikiingia kwa nyumba, Frasha anabaki hapo kwa mlango.
Amisi anaingia.
So without that could distinguish you, a lot of people, it gets to their head, and people don't understand what fame is, can be a very big curse.
Yeah. No, I totally hear you. Definitely our experiences are different, but I remember there's a time I didn't have work for a duration of time, and that was immediately coming from a good position in the financial institution. And I remember sana unapigia beshte hata hakuna mtu anashika simu yako, you are trying to look for people, guys wamepotea kabisa, yani kama uko like kwani
imagine all for job and then you left. There's somebody who has been unemployed throughout and they are happy with their life. So we, as human beings, whatever God has blessed us with, sometimes we don't see whatever God has given us. So wewe umejiwekea vitu zako zile unafaa kufanya nini. There's somebody who says without, yani budget yake ni 100 bob a day,
ako tu sawa,
ako sawa,
very happy,
anacheka mbaya,
yani
with hata Kibera kuna best yangu sema hata Kibera kuna watu wako na vitambi.
That's a good one.
Not kumaanisha ati kuna njaa. But there are people who are comfortable living there, you know. And yet God has blessed someone so much, lakini yeye bado haoni your blessing bado.
The different perspectives of life, eh? How interesting is that? Yeah. No, but I'm happy that you can be able to make that distinction, because I had to learn it the hard way. And these days I keep on saying, I think my friends are less than this. I have acquaintances, I have a social network, but in terms of people who know Linda at this point in time, they're less than 10 guys. And those are the people I feel like they are my ride or die. So that distinction was very important to make at a very early age. Well, what's your go, Frasha?
I think acquaintances in 1 million. Every country, I can go anywhere I want, you know, because I've had those relationships. But saizi nikambwa maybe two, only 2 people najua hawa nini ifanyike where will be there. Yeah, it's very lonely when you're famous, because everybody comes to you because of fame.
They want something.
Kwanza ikianza kufade hivi kidogo sasa, nobody wants to sit with you, nobody wants to talk to you, because when you're famous you go into a place, you're given everything is free. You can get a club, drinks are free. Food is free, you know. All of a sudden you have to pay for all these things with money that you don't have. It becomes very depressing.
That's very lonely, by the way.
Yeah, it is.
So what's your foundation? What's your pillar that, I know there's family for sure, but away from family, do you have certain values or principles that you're like, you know what, this is what has got me to where I am?
Number 1 is putting God first, Mungu mbele. Number 2, respecting everybody regardless. Ukwe ni mkubwa, ukwe ni mdogo, heshimu tu. Because you never know tomorrow when you would meet this other person. And number 3 is never steal anything. Mimi naamini yani usike hivi ya mtu. The moment tu maybe ya mtu hivi, hata kama itakurudia, somebody in your family yani katarudi tu. As in never steal from anybody. Ikwe ni government, ikwe ni binadamu, whoever. I just believe that is the worst thing that you can ever do. If you just keep it real, you say, mazejo, which is utaletewa yako itajaa tu peke yake.
In due time. And everyone's path is different. That's very true. So there is a story I read some time back, and of course I don't know about the current situation right now in terms of the case. But you are quite vocal about the death of a young man at a concert. And you know, personally I didn't follow it as much, but later on when I saw the social media frenzy about it, then I paid attention, like what is this, you know, why is Frasha, you know, supporting, why is Frasha calling for justice? And I don't know what's your take on it. Like for me it's not about pointing fingers, but for me it's like, that's not going to be the last case we might have. Unfortunately, we might have incidences we don't have to end up with fatality, but how do we, especially as an industry where we're trying to build the Kenyan scene, become more socially responsible? Because I believe when someone is coming to your event, you will be responsible from the moment someone enters your event to the moment someone leaves. Thereafter, it becomes your individual responsibility. I just want to hear your thoughts about it.
There was this young boy, he was called Shanky lived in Kitengela. One evening they got out, they went for a party in Rescos. And apparently he was beaten by the bouncers. But lucky enough, there was one of my friends that introduced him to the organizers of the event, who was he had new age footage of a floating camera, which takes 360. So if he's here and he's filming here, he can still see whatever is happening on the side. And we managed to get the footage of the bouncers actually beating the boy up. The reason why I took up the case is because this young man represented a fan. For example, if the concert was me doing the concert, na expect organizers wakuwe wame take care of whoever comes in, because they've come to see me, and whenever they go out wakuwe wako safe. And so it dawned on me, this young man from Kitengela would have been me. I come from Kitengela. My parents actually live in Kitengela. You know, and at that age, nitoke niende hata kama ni nini nimefanya, for him to be killed in a concert was wrong. And so the problem was the organizer, you know, alianza kuongea vibaya nini on social media and things. And you know, that for me that's our own life. You know, there's someone's life who somebody has lost their life, and you know, you cannot just wake up and move on. And so we started the campaign for justice for Shanky, but also now we learned. I got to learn a lot through this case, because the system, the justice system in Kenya is very slow. You know, ukijana aliuliwa, you know, like 2 years ago, and the guy was arrested, but then law is just too slow. You kusijui nani, you know, and so we've been pushing till today. And
oh wow,
yeah, and you know, the case is still ongoing, investigations and things. One day we hope there will be justice for that young soul.
I hope so, because I just want to like emphasize what you've said. For me, it's not really about the nitty-gritties that go behind the scenes. Is someone lost their lives, it should be a moment where we take a step back and say, hey, where did we go wrong?
And how do we learn?
How do we learn from it, so that next time another young person does not have to lose their life? So sincere condolences to the family and friends, and thank you for really supporting and championing that. And so what next for Frasha? You know, COVID happened, and I'm sure there might be changes in your life, but what's next for Frasha? Frasha, sijui kama ni 2.0, 3.0,
4.4.
4.0.
So right now I'm running an event company. It's called Empire Africa, whereby we've been able to sign Hallucination, which is a group. They do music. We've also signed Mosau, the mentalist, who is mentalists, or people call them magicians. And you know, looking to see how we can change and position ourselves in terms of entertainment in the scene. And so that's my new step. Other from that, you know, when COVID came, people started thinking of businesses, and I think come on, any artist and you only depended on music, there was a huge problem.
It hit home.
So I think it's important to realize the world has changed. You know, post-COVID, we won't go back to the same mindsets we had.
Definitely,
So people need to sit down and see, okay, so if this is not working, what do you change? How do you do whatever you are doing differently, so that, you know, you can stay afloat. No,
but happy to honestly just follow your journey.
Thanks a lot.
Again, for me, reaching out to you was getting to the fact that we need more of such voices where we are raw, we are honest, we are authentic with ourselves. We don't have those tags, and hopefully it can inspire someone out there, and especially the young people. Remember, there's so much you can be able to do, whether it's in governance, business, you know, you're a creative. Remember, eka Mungu mbele.
Mungu mbele.
That is so important. But thank you so much for also, honestly, your songs were a big part of my youth. It was always dope. Good times, Bana.
The other day I was in a Uber, and this guy told me, because I had covered myself, he was like, bro, you want us to call yangu, wewe ni Frasha? I told him, no, let me see. Wewe ni Frasha, try your mask. So I removed my mask. Yo, that guy played my songs throughout that.
But that must give you happiness, because at the end of the day, let me tell you, music is food to the soul, and you actually don't know what music can do to an individual and what circumstance an individual is in, but when they hear your song, they're like, because there's a part you used to say, I hope, hopefully I'll pronounce this correctly, Dakitare. I was just like, oh, that's it, Bana. I am done.
Yeah, we had good music, good times.
Yeah, but thank you so much for your contribution to the industry.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
To young people, to inspiring people, and for gracing my channel. I truly appreciate it. And remember, guys, we are at Founders Lounge at the Liquor House along Kiambu Road. If you want to make your deliveries as well, you can actually do that. Remember, Founders Lounge is a members only
place. Liquor House.
So please visit, and thank you so much again, Frasha.
Sanitize.
Oh, to sanitize.
Sanitize.
Cheers. Thank you so much.